Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host William, and this is, I want to say week 2, but I'm just going to do the titles now of week of June 14th, because technically week 3 for CB LOL, week 2 sort of for OPL. Vietnam apparently didn't start. I didn't see anything why it got delayed a week, so I guess we don't talk about Vietnam this week, because we already have our predictions in for that. That starts actually June 20th. And yeah, the rest of them are all week 1, week 2s. So we're just going to do the week of June 14th as the title now. How about that? But we have a lot of games to cover now. So we're going to get started. Hopefully my dog doesn't want outside my room. She's like, I don't know if she's wants out or not. She's just pacing around. Anyway, let's go straight into all the games, which I am glad I have 32 gigs of RAM because as you can tell up here, a lot of tabs in Chrome. Chrome, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's just, we won't even count them. There's just over like 40. First, let's start in CB LOL section. We're gonna go through these fast, obviously, because there's 40 plus games. But CB LOL section, we had Redemption take a victory over one absolute blowout, 16-1. Had the lead the whole time. Everything's good for Redemption. They had a fantastic week. Yeah, the whole game was blowout. I don't know why they had a Galio Brom support. My dog wants outside. Sorry, but they had a Galio Brom, and I don't like that. It's bot lane. It doesn't. I get that you just do a lot of CC, but you don't really get the damage. It didn't work at all. I didn't like it. You don't have the range. You get just poked out really bad with that combo. Next we had INTS or ENTS versus Kaboom, and this was a victory for INTS. This is their first victory of the season, as they won 19-8. They had Camille top over Jace. That was nice. The Akali for Envy was just amazing with 6-0-10, as well as Mikayo with Zaya 9-0-8. Duds the boy did have a good game at all. He had a really good week last week, but Duds the boy, I love the name, but did not have a good week whatsoever this week against Ents, or at least a good game. Always translate Portuguese. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Dude. Okay, so we had Flamingo versus CMB. CMB was actually, again, for the third time. They were 0-3 after this game, and for all three games, they had been in the lead. This one wasn't as massive as what they were usually up, but this was against Flamingo, the team that like lost 1 or 2 games total last split, and they threw it again. This team loves to throw games, man. They have a lot of pieces working. They just need to really work on closing the game's out. But it was a good comeback for Flamingo to get the win. Shrimp had a phenomenal game on the Rek'Sai after a little bit of a shaky start. Yeah, definitely dying before 2 minutes, and then he came back and finished 6-4, which was nice. And yeah, just the Yumi is so oppressive in pro play. But yeah, it was a good victory for Flamingo. Very disappointing for the third time in a row CMB had through a lead. This team that's 0-3, that everyone expected to be in last place, could really be a top team at the moment after the first 2 weeks, but unfortunately they are not. Next we have I don't even Uppercut versus Pain. I don't know why for some reason they put Pain Gaming behind him like that instead of in front. Pain Gaming versus Uppercut Esports, and I was upset because I fell in love with Uppercut Esports after last week, but they just got blown out of the water here by Pain. This was the Pain everyone was expecting to see. The first week they kind of were getting the nerves off. They kind of got blown out to Flamingo, and then they didn't look great in their victory in week 1. But today, or last week, I guess, Saturday, they absolutely looked phenomenal against Uppercut Esports and just were winning pretty much the entire game. They gave up a dragon and a tower, but they actually gave up 2 towers, an ocean, an infernal, a dragon, and another tower before giving up a kill, where they only gave up 1 kill at the very, very end. So they were giving up some objectives, which is weird. Usually you see teams give up a lot of kills, but not objectives. You don't see it often where a team wins by only giving the other team some objectives. It's kind of rare. They're making a lot of trades. The Uppercut was just not winning at all. INTS versus CMB. This time, CMB was only winning for a little bit. They did have this massive team fight, and I was like, oh my god, they're finally gonna win this a game. They didn't. It was really. They also got a Baron. To be fair, they did steal Baron here as well, and they ended up dying a lot for it. But because of that, they also got the dragon. So they're so close every time. Like I'm saying, this team makes me like feel for them because they're so close to winning every game. They have the pieces to almost put it together, but they just aren't. They're just not putting the stuff together at all. And they're 0-4 now, which is just not a strong start for anyone. But hopefully this week they get their first win. That's a little spoiler for my predictions coming up. Flamingo versus Redemption. Flamingo with the heavy throw here against Redemption Esports. Or is it? No, it's just Redemption. White Lotus had a phenomenal game on the Kaisa. We saw that just all in all, though, this was a 6K gold lead at the 37-minute mark. This was a 50-minute game, by the way. This was an excruciatingly long game. But it was pretty exciting for the most part because even though Flamingo was in the lead, as you can tell, they're still trading off objectives and kills every now and then against Redemption. So it clearly wasn't like Redemption was just getting blown out. But this one massive team fight with the quadra kill for White Lotus was just where it all ended because they get not only do they get the quadra kill, they get an Elder Dragon, they got a Baron, and they got multiple inhibs. So good. I'm very happy to see White Lotus back because I remember him on I believe it was Rainbow Seven in in the Mexico League back before LLA merged, or he was on the Mexico team, but he was in Latin America North. And now that he's back, and he was a backup on INTS last split. He never played at MSI, and I was kind of disappointed to see that. But now that we see him again, and Redemption's recovered. They had a little bit of a shaky week last week with one loss. I think it was to Kaboom, so it wasn't too bad. But I was expecting a 2-0 start from them. But now, with this win against Flamingo, they are definitely a front runner, I would say, for first place in Brazil. Next. God, these games don't end on the top. Like it's like it feels like I've made no progress. There's so many. Next, we had Pain Gaming over One Esports. One Esports is also one of those teams that does not have any victories yet in CBLOL. They, however, do not look as good as CMB. I feel like they are the team that's kind of getting blown out for the most part. As you can tell, they did take a dragon early. They ain't got first blood, but they weren't winning in the farming and rotations as they lost first tower, dragon, and all that. So they just got beat by Pain, and it was good to see Pain come back with strong with 2-0 week. And we also saw the Camille just absolutely pop off against Zoe, or not Zoe, Nico. Uppercut versus Kaboom. Uppercut got destroyed in both games this week, the Pain and Kaboom, and that didn't look very good at all. That maybe I bought in a little too much into this team after a very successful week one from them, going 2-0, and now I'm like, oh, I'm doubling down. They're gonna go 4-0 to start. They got absolutely blown out in both games. This was Duds the Boy's redemption game after he got destroyed in the first game. Shoot, I can't think off the top of my head. But he got absolutely destroyed in the first game. But Xayah came back and it was clean. 9-1 and 8, and the enemy bot lane is an 0-8 team. Looks like the bot lanes in my promo games. Fiora 5-1 and 9. Fantastic game against Aatrox, which is surprising because usually I think Aatrox is just. I guess Fiora can counter his Q pretty easily, and his chain as well. So I guess she is a pretty decent counter into Aatrox. I just think Aatrox is broken as shit. Like, to be honest, I think he's one of the most broken champs in the game with just the pure amount of healing he gets from his ult and damage when he gets a kill, and he just like, and that thing extends. Like, oh my god, it's disgusting. And that is all for Ocean or for CBLOL, by the way. I didn't really mark these properly, so just we're going straight to the OPL now. Actually, no. Let's not go to OPL yet. Let's go to CBLOL power rankings. First, I have Redemption moving up to number 1. I have Flamingo dropping number 2 because Redemption beat Flamingo, and Redemption had a 2-0 start. Flamingo is also 3-1. Along with Redemption now. So I think that Redemption deserves number 1 as they just recently beat them, and I think they're at a pretty equal level of skill. Pain, at their solid 2 a week, moves up to number 3. Kaboom went 1-1, so they dropped to 4. I believe I had them at 2 last week. INTS has moved up to number 5 from number 6, as they had a 2 a week to go 2-2. Uppercut drops from number 4 to number 6 to be, since they're 2-2 now, since they started out 2-0. CMB still at number 7. I still think, even though they're 0-4 with Team 1, I think they have played a much better. They've had a much better 0-4, if you can call it that, where they're actually competitive in the games. Where Team 1, not so much. And I guess with that, we'll do predictions as well for CB LOL, just to move it all out of the way, so it's not like broken up throughout the podcast. But CB LOL game number 1. Actually, we'll do them here because it's actually easier to actually see who they're facing and stuff. Hey, look, you can see LJL. I was looking at that a little bit, setting them up. Okay, let's go like this. Nope, come on. There we go. Ooh, Varus in the back. Varus is my new favorite champion, by the way. I am doing really well on him. Uppercut Esports, I have beating INTS in game number 1. I have Redemption beating Pain Gaming in game number 2. Flamingo beating Kaboom in game number 3. CMB getting their very first win of the year against Team 1 in game number 4. Kaboom taking a little bit of an upset over Pain Gaming in game number 5. INTS finishing the week with at least a 3-3 record, beating Team 1 for Team 1 to start the season 0-6. Flamingo taking down Uppercut Esports, I'm sad, but I think Flamingo is just flat out better. And Redemption being able to clean up against CMB. I wouldn't be surprised if CMB takes a big lead in this game and also throws it as well. That just seems to be their MO right now. But yeah, that is Brazil. So with that, we'll move straight on to Oceania. And the first game we had here, we had Mammoth Gaming over Gravitas. And Gravitas just got blown out. Mammoth Gaming started off strong this split. With Triple on the team. Triple was from Direwolves, I believe. I do remember Triple on Direwolves. So he had a really good game on the Morgana. I thought he had 16 assists, which, I mean, this is a lot. You're basically a second support, but yeah, especially with the item build. But I thought that he was just phenomenal in hitting his bindings and stuff like that. Sivir for King was just fantastic, 9-1-8. It's always nice to have a spell shield with a Morgana with an engage of Nautilus with the Sivir. It's a very good team comp. I actually love it. And the speed buff for Nico also helps a lot too. And even Trundle, really, because Trundle can put the pillar down and he just can go at Sejuani and take Sejuani's stats. This might be the one for Hail Blades? I don't remember. There's one game out there where Sejuani took Hail Blades. I thought it was genius against Trundle. I don't remember what region it was in, but shout out to whoever did it. Thank you. I wish I could see it on these match histories, but they don't provide it, and I don't want to go back and look through. I don't want to look back through hundreds of games each week to find one game of Sejuani Trundle. But yeah, this is straight to blowout. 20-6, just had the gold lead the entire game, up to 12k by 27 minutes. Very good win for Mammoth to start out the season 2-0 at that point. Because this is still week 1. OPL gets really weird in this. I'm sorry, it's just the way it has to be, where we only do half of the games and then the second half of the games, and then it's like the first half of games and the second half of games. It's weird. I'm sorry. It just games start on Friday morning. Podcast starts at Friday night, and then they play games on Saturday as well. So it's ugly like that, but it's all you can do. Unless I would do more podcasts, but I'm already doing 6 podcasts a week. It's already a strain. Order got upset to Legacy. This is a massive upset for the OPL. Order is a very good team. Legacy was predicted to finish dead last in the league, and this was it's just kind of a blowout. It was 19-8. They put the Pike top against the Riven. Don't like that pick, by the way, not at all. It worked. Like, okay, that doesn't happen too often. The Skarno Rek'Sai is a big counter. We do know that very well. Akali and Silas, I believe, is a skill matchup. I don't think people say Silas is a big counter to Akali. I don't necessarily agree. I think it's a slight advantage to Silas. I don't think it's a massive advantage. And Kaisa Nautilus is a very good bot lane versus Sivir Yuumi, which is also a very good bot lane. So really, it should have came down to Skarner winning and Pike or Riven winning, and then the winner of that. Well, luckily for Legacy, Skarner won and so did Pike. So they just pulled out a straight victory of coming out of that. They also had Sivir winning over in the bot lane as well, obviously. But this is a 50-50 match. But this should not have happened for Order. Order is on a really big struggle bus right now, losing the Legacy, and unfortunately they lost again. Coming up. Bombers versus Avance. Bombers actually won this game against Avance, and I was very surprised about that personally because Bombers don't look great. Like they looked really good in this game. Right, Ryoma on the Azir of all picks. I know I've been criticizing Azir over the last few podcasts. The Azir did fantastic work against Cassiopeia. He went 6-0 and 8, and he just absolutely outranged. I think Azir, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't play either of these matchups, and I'm not a big mid laner. Azir is a pretty decent counter to Cassiopeia, I would say, just because of the range and the. I feel like after one item, his Cassiopeia's strength is her clear and her like ability to just like get you really hard with the poison and then the fang type situation. Where if Azir can stand back and clear the wave and Cassiopeia never gets that opportunity, I would think that'd be a counter. But I'm not 100% on that person. So let me know if you if you know that matchup. We also had a Silas bot lane. didn't bring that up. No, wait. Did we have Silas? Was Silas mid actually this game? He might have been. He might have been. Nah, I'm thinking back on it. It was Cassiopeia bot lane. Never mind. The thing is, their mid laner played the Cassiopeia. Never mind. I'm sorry. There's a lot of games here. I forget. But yes. Yeah, because look, we had Azir killing Silas before pre 1 minute. Also, Azir, very good matchup in Silas, I've always thought. I think so because he just Silas can get to you, but then you can just wall him away, and then he's like, but he does have the wall for himself as well, personally, but not in this matchup. I think it's more of a skill matchup actually. I don't think it's as good of a matchup. I'm taking back what I just said. But yeah, 21K. Don't see Azir pop off that often. It's nice to see, and especially only a 31-minute game. Chiefs versus Direwolves. The Chiefs actually kind of destroyed Direwolves. This is we finally saw our very first Tom Kench top in pro play, and it was a little underwhelming in my opinion. We did get a kill right away with the help of Raze at like 1 minute, but unfortunately, like outside of that, it didn't do enough. It wasn't as impressive, and I think it's partially because it was facing Renekton, which I feel like Tom Kench beats all melee champs up top, but Renekton is also really strong in the top lane early. So I'm trying to remember how this laning phase went. It's tough. I can't remember. I'm getting old. But yeah, Chiefs also had a, even if the Rankton didn't do too hot into the Tom Kent, which I mean he went 2-3, but 2-3 also there, so he didn't get destroyed. He survived, which is the importance of top lane as a tank player and as a Team Liquid fan with Impact. The whole point of top lane is to absorb pressure and survive. That's how I've always been until you play the team fights, and then you're just a better team fighter. But Tom Kent is not a great team fighter outside of being able to devour. But now with his Devour Nerf, he's really rough on the team fights. But yeah, Chiefs had a fantastic bot lane with Ezreal going 6-0-9. Kaisa going, the bot lane going 0-8 with 2 assists. That's even worse than what we saw previously. I think they were 0-8 with at least like 8 assists. Yeah, only 2 assists total. Kaisa was not part of a single kill all game, and Thresh was only part of 2. Not great. Not great. Chiefs did have another victory here against Gravitas. Gravitas has started the season 0-3 to start. Chiefs are 2-1 at the recovery after losing their first game of the year. That was a really rough game to watch, and this game actually, Gravitas was winning for the most part, pretty much the entire game until the very end, where they gave up just one. Four, or I guess technically you say a five for O and 5 towers and an inhib and a nexus is usually not a good not a good team fight, to say the least. I like the Renekton versus Camille mid. I think that Renekton actually beats Camille most days. It went pretty even, 2-1 to 2-2. Who went into lane? Yeah, Camille actually died in lane. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I like the counter because this Camille mid's popping up a lot. So I think we'll see Renekton mid a lot more. I expect Doinby to actually pull this out a lot. This is what happened when Aurelia was actually coming mid, and the fact that it was Aurelia and Camille mid, that Renekton is a fantastic pick into both of those. So I think that was very smart by Gravitas. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off because the Jax actually didn't pay off, which is surprising to me because I think Jax always pays off for the most part. He's one of the most broken champs in the game, in my opinion, as you probably know. But yeah, the Kaisa Galio, that's a very strong combo, and it's a little bit stronger than Ezreal Nautilus. I like Nautilus, but he's not necessarily fading, but I think that he has an issue where if you're playing support Nautilus, you're super squishy. So if you get behind, you go in, you immediately die kind of situation where like the enemy can use, because essentially when you hook someone as Nautilus, you move forward and so they get stuck. But if Sejuani gets hooked, she's gonna be able to out survive is way more burst than you are gonna survive. It's kind of like you just butt heads, and if your team is like the Chiefs were in this game, were on the ball, like able to attack the Nautilus as quickly as Gravatas is able to attack your Sejuani, the Chiefs are gonna win that exchange. So that's the issue with Nautilus. That's his one weakness is when he's behind, he kind of gets he gets himself caught out, and he only died twice this game. But like in personal experience, you end up dying a lot in that situation. Next, we had Avantis versus Legacy, and we had our Sona. We also had a Pike top. They took the Taric as well, so we had Sivir Taric and Sona Galio. This was because this Tom Kench was not banned, so this is interesting. We usually Sona Galio is like the third string. Usually, if Taric is taken for Sona, we had you get the Tom Kench for it to bring the safety there. But instead, we had Galio, and it worked out just fine. I think they went 1-1-12 and 2-1-10. So I thought that wasn't bad, especially against Sivir. I would think that Legacy should have won the bot lane a lot harder than they didn't, obviously, because the wave clear of Sona Galio is not strong at all. They should have been just like pounding away. They didn't even get first tower until like 12. I don't even know which tower that was. No, that's not theirs. They didn't even get a tower until 16 minutes, and that was probably the mid tower with Chess. Let's see. Let's go to building kills. Nope. They got that one at 16 minutes. Okay, never mind. I was like, this tower should have gone down instantly with Sivir, and then like Taric can save Sivir from any of Galio. Galio's engaged should be countered by Sivir E, and Taric's stun should knock that, like, just fix that easily, but didn't work out, obviously. And Chippies as well on the Renekton just destroyed the Pike, and Guts did not have a good game at all. 0-4-7 on the Jarvan. Yeah, Renekton gets fed. Doesn't really matter what's going on with the rest of the game. With the rest of 8 minutes tower destroyed. I don't even remember that. Jesus. Yeah, that was really bad. But that Avant's very good victory against Legacy. Legacy showing that they are a last place team, which made their win against Order even worse. And for Order. And Order, finally, speaking of them, went 0-2 this week with in a 1-3 start, right? No, 1-2 start. And now with the loss to Direwolves just absolutely, they look pretty good. I'm actually getting excited to see this Direwolf team. They revamped their team up after probably being the worst team almost in all of professional League of Legends last year. Like, they only won, like, I believe it was one game or two games in all of Oceania, which is not, by and large, a very strong region. So if you're the worst of the worst in that region, they're one of the worst teams in all of professional league. They have stepped it up quite a bit this year with a nice 3-1 start. We still have Biopanther up top with the Rise. He dominated Raze on the Gragas. That was disgusting performance. The Karthus jungle, I don't like Karthus jungle anymore with the nerfs to his alt. Like, I think those are significant nerfs to the alt, and that's kind of what you play him for, is that late game damage. And the fact that they took most of that away, I think that I don't think he's as viable as he was before. I think you can bully him early, and it's too late into the game when he finally starts popping off with damage, I think, personally. And the Lucian bot lane absolutely destroyed the Draven bot lane, and that's kind of how most Draven bot lanes go. If you get destroyed early, you kind of don't come back. I also don't like Yumi too much with Draven personally because I think Dravens can get CC'd really hard because they have to step up and the axes people can see where they're landing type situation. That's why Blitz is usually a decent pick into Draven because you know where Draven's gonna go step. I guess Draven can put you. There's always that mind game where you know Blitz knows and like do you go for that axe because Blitz knows and he's gonna pull where that axe is type situation. So it's definitely mind games to it. But I think that in this situation, it wasn't Blitz, it was Lux, and it was very similar where Lux can shoot the Q, where he's going to land, stun him up. Lucian also provides a lot of damage early, so I just thought it's not the best pick into Lucian Lux, I don't think. And I mean, it could be because it can snowball really well because they're both two very squishy people. Like if Draven gets an early kill on the slow from Yumi and the speed up by Draven, like he can just chunk some Lux down in like 2-3 autos. So you could snowball it. It just didn't work this game. And I believe that is all for Oceania. Nope, we still had one more game. Mammoths versus Bombers. This was a blowout for Mammoths. Bombers did lose their jungler and their ADC towards the very end of the right at the MSI because they did go to MSI as you remember, and they lost them towards the end or towards the beginning of this split, kind of so like end of off season I should say. So I did expect Bombers to struggle quite a bit this year. Didn't expect them to lose this badly. They actually did start out with 2 kills like right away and a dragon, so it was all good at the beginning. But that was it. Olaf on 1-6 did not work at all. Just everything worked bad except for Ryoma who went 5-4. But triple again on the Azir. We had 2 good Azirs this week in Oceania. And that was an 8-0-7 performance. That was fantastic. But yeah, the Bombers they're 1-3. They're gonna struggle this year. But with that, I believe that's the end of Oceania. Yes. So let's go back to here and go over our power rankings, where we have Avant Gaming number 1, Mammoth number 2. They have moved up actually to number 2. I want to put them number 1, but Avant is still. Avant went 1-1 this week with their only loss being to, shoot, I can't think off the top of my head. But I think that Avant is still number 1 personally. Mammoth needs a little bit more proving. They've moved all the way up to number 2 for me. I believe I had them number 4 last week, and I think even the week before that I have them like number 5 or 6. So they're moving up quickly. They're having a fantastic year. Chiefs stay at number 3 at the moment. Direwolves have moved up to number 4. I dropped Order. Order was my number 2 team. They've dropped all the way down to 5th. They've had a horrible performance. Bombers stay at number 6. Legacy moves up to number 7 at their victory over Order. And Gravitas, who has not won a game yet, is at number 8. We don't have to talk of VCS because I don't know why. I tried to look up something and couldn't get any information. It's kind of tough to get information on these wildcard regions. I really wish there was a lot more out there, but Google searches sometimes don't work. And I'm like, I don't know where to go from here. I'm not the best on the internet, apparently. If I can't find it on the first page of Google, I'm kind of screwed type situation. So I didn't see anywhere why the VCS was delayed a week, but it was delayed a week. So my predictions from last week, you can go watch that video, or you can go see them right here. Evos, Buffalo, Flash, Gam, Low-Key, Gam, Flash, and Buffalo. If you want to know who they're facing, you're going to have to look at last week's video or look at who they're facing on the schedule. Next, we had TCL, the Turkey League. So, man, this is what I expected this podcast to be. Last week, I believe it was only like 20 minutes. I'm like, how the hell did I go that quickly? Because there was no games. We were just doing predictions. Let's go back. It's lightening up a bit up here, but now we have the TCL. Which, funny enough, I watched a lot of TCL Academy for like the first 5 games of this, and I'm like, because I thought I was fine. Obviously, I don't speak Turkish. Might surprise you. I only sadly speak one. I barely speak English correctly, but I wish I could speak more languages, but I'm just not good at it. But I was watching on the YouTube channel, and because I can't understand, I just am watching for the league aspects. It's very similar to the Taiwan, the LMS when I can't understand what they're saying on the stream, but I can still watch the game and I understand what's going on during the game. But yeah, first 5 games I watched Academy TCL. So when I went back, like before the podcast, and was getting my standings correct, like setting him up for. I'll show you this part right here, and I see like stuff like Supermassive's like 1-1. I'm like, wait, they went 2-0. Like I saw them win 2 games, and then, like I saw something like I think it was Aurora. Yeah, I'm like Aurora went 0-2. Like how are they 1-1? And there was like 3 or 4 like things wrong, and I'm like, why? What happened? Like was I drunk at work today? Like when I was watching these games, like I could have swore I saw these teams lose. And then like I looked back and I went to the videos that I had watched on YouTube to like try and confirm it, and I see on the top of it that I didn't notice previously in the thumbnail, it says Academia or something like that. And I'm like, oh. So, whoopsies. I know now not to check for that Academia part on the top. So I don't watch those because listen, I'm watching 13 leagues already. Do you think I can, I can't even watch LCS Academy and stuff like that? That'd be cool eventually down the line if I had like more people working. Like if we had more than just me, Brian, and Brock, and I'm like, oh, they could take that over. I can't watch 30 leagues. I can barely watch 13. Anyway, let's go through the first game, which was Supermassive versus Fenerbahce. This actually had a play here with Frozen and Luna. This was Play of the Week on the Penta. If you saw that right here. Play of the Week for all the regions this week. 2v5 essentially in the Baron Pit. They killed them all, as you could tell. And they did both end up dying for it as well, but they wasted enough time that Zietnot for Supermassive, and I believe was it Olaf that came in there as well? Yeah, Olaf, Stone Mage, was able to actually come in and secure the Baron after their bloodbath. But just the Nico ult into the Silas as Zero ult, like Silas stole Zero ult, used it into the pit, and like Nico ult, boom, Pop Blossom, destroys everyone, kills all 5 of them, and then because of that, this game was actually kind of, as you could tell, they were gonna be losing this game at that moment. Like I thought Fenerbahce was gonna close out the game with that Baron because it's so oppressive with Jason Azir, and then having Draven do the Hades on the Draven just do so much damage. And I thought that was going to be the victory for Fenerbahce, but it wasn't. It was a very good victory for Supermassive to start the year for the Turkish League. Next, we had BJK over BUR. I cannot pronounce these names for the life of me, so I'm going to be using the pronunciation or the abbreviations. See, again, English, I can barely speak it. 10-0 victory. This was actually, even though they had 0 kills, like this was a close game. Like they were very effective at keeping the gold lead with just keeping up with objectives, even though they were down 5-0, and Yasuo was getting all those kills. Korean kid. It's almost Korean kid, but it's misspelled. I think I would pronounce it Korean kid. But Korean kid actually started out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kills. The first 6 kills of the game go to Yasuo. You know you get flamed. As the mid laner who goes 0-1, who has gone against a roaming Yasuo, you get flamed for it no matter what. But yeah, it was mostly Taiki in the jungle. He went 0-4. He had a very rough game. Tom Kent, obviously, everyone had a rough game. No one had assists. There was no kills. They were just taking objectives. Like they were trading Infernal for like tower there. They gave up a Rift Herald for a tower, stuff like that. Like they were trading stuff, but it was never working. Like they were never trading up. Like BJK was always trading up, and they were always winning. Slowly, like they weren't winning gold wise, but they were winning once they got to the Baron pit. They're like, oh, we have 2 kills here, let's go get the Baron, and then they just closed out the game immediately after that, as you can tell, taking 6 towers on 1 Baron. It's a good victory for them, and all their teammates, perfect KDAs after the first game. perfect. Next we had Dark Passage versus GAL. I do remember Dark Passage. That one's easy to say. This one I was so happy. I like Dark Passage just because frankly, name's kind of cool. I don't know too much about them yet, but name was kind of cool, and it kind of drew me to it. And I knew they're not going to be strong, to be fair. I did know that, and I know GAL is also going to be one of the weaker teams on the end. But this was a hell of a game. 46-minute game. Look at the amount of objectives that went over to GAL within a 10-minute span. GAL took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towers, 6 towers, 2 inhibs, a Baron, and an Ocean Drake. That's insane. Like that's so many objectives, and they only gave up 1 tower in a few kills for it too. It wasn't even that bad. But eventually, Dark Passage took the next Baron, even though there's an Elder Drake here. They took the second Elder Drake as well. They barely won that team fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did not win that team fight. Actually, they actually lost that, I would say. But they were able to win the next team fight and just slowly backdoor them. I don't think I saw this game now I think about it. No, I did see this game. I'm trying to remember which games I saw that were Academy and which ones were not. But yes, this was a very good victory for the Rise, 11-3, just huge, and the Kennen. Rise and Kennen, just you have so much split push power with that potential, and Syndra cannot stay very well on the side lane, so I think and Nico was having a really rough game against the Kennen. So it's mostly, when you get Flame Horizon like this, and when both of your solo laners get Flame Horizon, it's not going to be a good game. Even if you stuck in it for 46 minutes, that was purely off of your team fighting abilities, and I think Dark Passage for not playing their team comp as well as they should have, because they really should have just been 1-3-1ing the entire game. But it was a good victory, though. They still won it, and that's what's important. Doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get the victory, that's all that matters. Except in power rankings, which don't technically matter. Next, we had IW versus GS. IW came out with the victory, and they actually came up with the victory with just a very steady, slow. These are the boring games, by the way, where they're not fun to watch because they just slowly win the game. They're not really too exciting either, but yeah, we had the Karthus got defeated again. I'm telling you, man, Karthus is not great. We did have a Varus mid. That's been popping up in solo queue a bit, and I'm kind of interested in it as a player who's just starting to learn Varus. I think I'm like 10-4 on Varus so far. I'm loving him. I just love the utility of the ult. But I always go on hit Varus, by the way. I don't go lethality just because I don't. I'm worried that if I go lethality Varus, that all my damage is in the queue, and if I miss the queue, what do I do now? Type situation. You can't miss auto attacks. That's my philosophy on it. But yeah, this was a very good victory for Unix on the Ezreal. He went 10-2, just MVP of the game. The Lux support did not work out this time. I'm so surprised that Lux support went from troll that your mid laner is doing, like, oh great, the auto-filled mid laner playing support, he's gonna play Lux, to now being completely meta. It's just a funny thing that I like to see. Next we have Aurora versus Royal Youth. Look at that. I was like, I know what those abbreviations are. These are the names I can pronounce. But yeah, this was Royal Youth coming out very strong. Started out the year the only team undefeated left still in the TCL, and they started out the year 1-0 going against Aurora. 6-1-4 performance, 7-2-3, 3-0-7 victories all around. And as you can tell, outside of the first 2 minutes where they're down 100 gold, didn't lose the lead from there on out. After that, they got first blood immediately after that on the Nico over the Hecarim. Hecarim top. When it falls behind hard. That's the issue. It's a very oppressive laner, but if it's pretty much with all Triforce users, 3,733 gold is a lot of gold if you're 0-4 in a game. you don't get as much farm. Obviously, you got Flame Horizon here. Only 133 farm. Yeah, really. The Hecarim only had 1 item in boots by 25 minutes. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's a good victory for Royal Youth, though. Which was expected, though, by the way. They were a top 3 team. Next, we had BJK versus GAL. GAL actually came up with the victory. I was very surprised. GAL was supposed to be the worst team in the Turkish league this year, but they dominated this game, as you can tell. They had a 4K gold lead, and once they gave that gold lead, they were not CMB from the CB LOL. They closed out a game with 2 Barons, and they made sure. Look, I always find it funny. They gave up a Baron, 3 towers, and inhib, but 1 death. They gave up a tower and a dragon, gave up a death. gave up a death for nothing. But they got the Baron after that and gave up another death. And then they gave up 2 deaths, but then they finally got kills out of it. They were getting only objectives, no kills. Like, BJK was always killing one person but giving up an objective. Another person giving up an objective. Objectives are the most important part of the game, by the way. I'll trade 1 death for an objective all day, every day. And that's what Gel did, and they absolutely were victorious in it. 1907 Fenerbahce versus BUR. And this was the 1907's victory after an 0-1 start against Supermassive. They came back strong with they had Balulu, one of my favorite names of all time of any player in any league. Balulu with the Vel'Koz, 5-1-5. The Narpak on Yuntara. I'm glad to see Yuntara, who was the MVP of this game, coming off of he was on SKT last split, but last year. The one time I need to say last year instead of last split, I say last split correctly or in an incorrect statement. God damn it! Yuntara had a very good. I am so pissed about that. Yuntara had a good week though. He had a good day. Went 3-0-10. And Gnar, I don't like Gnar necessarily too much in this meta, but it worked out against Rise this time. I'll just say that. I don't think Gnar is as strong in this meta without the tanks. Gnar is like, he needs the tanks to be viable, so he's viable type situation. Like, his poke is obnoxious for tank players, but there is no tank players right now. Next we had Supermassive. This is the game I did not see. Like, these ones coming up, these are the ones I watched the Academy games where I saw Supermassive's Academy beat Royal Youth. I'm like, oh, okay, Supermassive beats Royal Youth. Then I go and check. I'm like, wait, why is Supermassive 1-1? Why is Royal Youth 2-0? That's because they won. 2018. Oh, man, this was a throw. So I'm learning about this one as well. This was an absolute throw by Supermassive here, where they were in the lead for a very long time here, and then they just gave up. It looks like they gave up an Elder and a Baron, but they only had 1 death. So they killed Stone Mage, and they just let them take it? Damn, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate completely. And then they gave up inhibs. Yeah, you're not going to do much when someone has a second Elder Drake and Baron. You're just going to lose that game, and they absolutely did. Shame on them for that, but 9-3 is, oof, man. That's a throw. That's a bad throw. Karthus wins. After flaming Karthus, he does get a victory on here, but I think it's a throw more than anything else. Next, we had IW versus Aurora. Another one where I'm like, oh man, Istanbul Wildcats, like they beat Aurora. That was nice. I go back and check my. Why are they 1-1? I thought they were 2-0. It was so confused. I was so confused like an hour ago when I was doing this. But yeah, Aurora with the victory. They had 10k gold lead. This was just a straight blowout, it looks like. And yeah, hopefully next time I actually watch the proper games so I can give you more information on these. I feel so dumb. I thought Dark Passage started 2-0 as well. All these games, their Academy teams won. Why couldn't their Academy teams lose at least as well so I could at least pretend I knew what happened? Like, Jesus. This is a straight blowout for GS. It's just huge. Complete victory. Was leading the entire game. Aatrox, he's busted. He's busted. Vlad also busted. Ezreal kind of busted as well. Zinzao, not so much. Next, we had ISG versus Rainbow Seven. Not Turkey. So we're gonna go back to here. Damn, it's already 45 minutes. This is the podcast I expected it to be. Thank God. Okay, so power rankings. We have Royal Youth #1 as they toppled Supermassive, and Supermassive toppled 1907 Fenerbahce. I had Royal Youth #3 last week, so obviously they're gonna be #1 this week. After that start, I would say. Supermassive falls to #2, who I had #1 before I checked the standings today. 1907 Fenerbahce, #3. Obviously, I can't put them above Supermassive as Supermassive beat them, and they were ahead of them at the beginning anyway. But I think these teams will both be totally fine. Team Aurora moves up to #4. I thought their victory was very solid, now that I know that they won. Istanbul Wildcats moved up to #5. Gal, G-A-L. This is why I went with the abbreviations, people. Gal dropped to #6, even though they did have one victory at the very end. It was against Dark Passage, so it wasn't as necessarily like good of a victory, I'd say. Dark Passage does move up number 7 from number 9. Galactos. I don't. God damn it! I hate these Turkish. These Turkish names are the toughest ones in all of League of Legends, I think, so far. They went up to number 8. It is tough for me to pronounce these. Number 9, BES went up to number 9 or dropped to number 9, and Bursa is the only O2 team. They didn't look good in O2. They're going to number 10 right now. I'm not too excited about them coming up. Actually, I think I might have them winning a game. I say I'm not excited, but I think I have them upsetting someone this week. I do. All right, let's go. Nope. We don't need to watch. Oh, no, they're starting now. LGL, no. I didn't know they were starting now. My predictions were made before that game. I'm not going to look at it. Let's see, Turkey. I didn't realize they were starting at midnight. Maybe that's my fault. I wanted to come in here. I didn't even say it at the beginning of the podcast. I wanted to come into this podcast and be like, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I was busy today because it's a Friday night, and that's why I didn't do Friday night podcast originally." What I was really doing, taking a 3-hour nap because I was just so tired after work. Got home from work at like 5:30, ate dinner. Kind of watched some LLA to finish it off, and I didn't watch the Academy League at least, but I watched the LLA, and then I was like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm just gonna take a nap before the podcast. I thought 30 minutes was the nap. It was 3 hours. Like, oh, whoops. God, I didn't have anything prepared for the podcast. I think I woke up at like 10:20. I'm like, well, that sucks. And this is a big podcast. This is a wildcard one to prepare. Anyway. For the first game, I have Royal Youth beating 1907 Fenerbahce. They impressed me a lot on the post. Like after I realized they beat Supermassive, they impressed me a lot in the first game. Like I was already impressed with them, and then like I saw that they beat Supermassive. I'm like, oh wow, they must have really impressed me. Then Supermassive will beat Istanbul Wildcats. GS will beat BJK. Dark Passage. I have Dark Passage upsetting Aurora. I have BUR upsetting GAL. I don't think it's too big of an upset. GAL was predicted to be the worst team in the league, so the fact that they're going to do that, I think they'll be back down to reality. It's just that everyone's 1-1. I feel like an 0-2 team that loses to 2 bad teams kind of needs to be in last. Anyway, next game we have Aurora versus BJK. I think Aurora is going to win that one. Supermassive is going to beat Dark Passage. GS is going to beat BUR. Istanbul Wildcats are going to lose to Royal Never Give Up. Yes, RNG is playing in this one. Royal Youth. But in 1907, Fenerbahce is going to beat GAL. And that is going to be the Turkish League. 47 minutes in the podcast. Jesus Christ. We still got to do LLA. And then after that, we got to do LJL. Oh, man. We're going to try and go a little bit faster. That was my goal originally, is to do these much faster. But I am failing. Okay, so LLA. Huge blowout. Isurus just destroyed Royal 7. Or Rainbow 7, not Royal 7. Jesus Christ. Isurus just absolutely blew him out. The Pike top again. G2, you brought an insane meta. We have AD Twisted Fate. Finally saw the Triforce Twisted Fate. And look at what it did. Look at it. 7-0-13. I've been so happy. I played this build. I've only played it 3 times, to be honest. I saw this one on Reddit like everyone else. Thought it was like, oh wow. I read the whole thing. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like, this is good. And I went into my games, played it. First 2 games I played with it, not even joking, the enemy surrendered at 15 minutes. Never got to see the full potential. I've never been able to see the full potential of this build. I've only gotten to Rapid Fire Cannon and Trinity Force. Have never gotten to the Wits End part, but I love every bit of it. And yeah, we also had a 9-0-8 Draven, by the way. So 9-0-8 Draven kind of also dominates. Shout out to Nobody on Rainbow 7 for making me laugh with his name as well. Just want to point that one out. God, we gotta go faster. I can't be doing that. X10 beat Furious Gaming in game number 2. Furious Gaming was actually kind of in the lead for most of this game. I was impressed with how they were doing because I thought they were going to be towards the bottom of the region. But unfortunately,
They threw the game. Kind of sounds like other teams that we know about with a Baron. Weird. It's almost like we always see Baron throws. It's like it's a very popular objective or something like that. Next, we had Pixel versus All Knights, and Pixel actually pulled up the upset. All Knights supposed to be one of the favorites coming into the LLA as they finished number one. Obviously, Isurus won, but All Knights finished the regular season number one team, and because we saw Isurus at MSI, but All Knights had a very we had the Parang with his Khan cosplay over here with the 1-8 Kennen. Unfortunately, or not Khan, sorry. Damn it. The Shy. The Shy is what I meant to say. Oh, man, I messed up my own joke. But All Knights with the Shy cosplay at 1-8-7. Kennen, unfortunately, didn't do the winning aspect of it, but the rest of his team kind of let him. I wouldn't say the rest of his team was let him down. He kind of let down the rest of his team since they were all positive. The whole team was winning. They gave up 4 kills out of Baron to the weirdly enough the Federelia who had 3 kills in laning phase. Right, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3 kills in laning phase. Comes in, gets a triple kill, gets a Baron for the team, secures another Baron for the team. How about a third Baron for the team? But this time they picked it up with the Elder Drake, and then they were able to do it. Go to bed? No. I just went to bed for 3 hours. I'm like super awake right now. That's just me being dumb. I didn't even know you're here, Idol. Hey, how you doing? This is the wildcard region. It gets crazy here. Next, we had Isurus facing KLG. This should have been an easy victory. Kind of wasn't. Because KLG was one of the worst teams in the LLA, but Isurus Gaming obviously is one of the best as they went to MSI. And they threw a little bit, but then they re-threw at the Baron. Weird! Again, another Baron throw. We had 3 in a row to start the LLA this season. Welcome to this league, by the way, for me watching it. I'm like, oh, okay, how's this one going? Okay, they just throw Barons. Pretty much. Got it. Yeah, this is very ugly. The Fiora just absolutely disgusting for Bugex. Bugex did not have a good MSI, by the way, but he looked good in this game, even though he went 2-3. He got those 2 kills at a very vital time. He only got 1 kill there. Maybe I do need to go to bed. Jesus Christ. Man. But yeah, he went 2-3, but I thought he played really well. We also had Lichbane Silence and gets defeated. I'm depressed. 3-1-2 though. Ignore the defeat. You can't see me. Ignore this part. Look at this 3-1-2 of Lichbane. It works, I promise. Yeah, we had Camille mid though. Yeah, nothing else too fancy around here. Let's move on. We got to hurry. We're almost an hour into a damn podcast. I don't like to do any podcast over an hour. Especially one that I'm by myself with. At least if I'm with like Brian and Brock, if we do an hour of discussion, that makes more sense. But an hour of me talking is kind of crazy. Game number 5, X10 destroyed All Knights again. X10 went 0 or All Knights went 0-2 to start this year. I'm like, who the hell is this team? This team's supposed to be the best team in the league. I picked Isurus personally because I knew them at least a little bit, and I thought they were good enough at MSI that I wanted them to move on. I am. I have too much fun watching most of the wildcard regions, except for one game which I will bring up later on. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Yeah, we had Blossom, Sky, Fix, a huge blowout, All Knights. What the hell, man? They were supposed to be the number 1 team. I'm like, who is this team? They suck. They're 0-2. But they did move on. They did win their next game. Spoiler alert. Infinity also they started out nice, very strong start actually at 3-0, but they destroyed KLG this game. I can't say destroyed. It was only a 1.37k gold lead. I need to stop watching games at work. Apparently, I don't process what's happening. I can't even watch the correct Turkish games during work. This is what happens. I need to quit apparently and just only watch League. Yeah, Renekton 6-2-4. This podcast is off the rails. Silas 8-5-11. Ezreal 7-3-7. Vigar ADC with Alistair. I am so disappointed this didn't win. I played against this before as Kaisa. This absolutely murdered me. I've never felt so useless, and I apologize to my team. I think I went like 0-8 in laning phase. with cleanse, by the way. I took cleanse. Cleanse doesn't have a 14-second cooldown. If you haven't faced this, it is not fun, especially Kaisa because she has such low range that you have to go up. You get if you're in the baby cage, Alistair just slams you into it. If you're not in the baby cage, cool, Alistair slams you into it, and you just die. I don't think I've ever had a game where I fed as badly in recent memory as that one. This bot lane is a bot lane of nightmares. It is. It's not fun to face. From personal experience, I'm 0-1 with it, and it is the worst bot lane I think I've ever faced. I felt so useless. I would go up the farm dead. I would try and hide behind it, and Alistair would like flash knock me into the, and then just like as I'm in the air, Vigar cage down. Alistair headbutt into the Vigar cage. Vigar ults you. You die. You don't do anything. You just do nothing. I guess Ezreal's a better pick into it because you can, E out before Alistair headbutts you. But that's why they win, and that's why they're pros, and I'm in plat. Next, we had All Nice versus Rainbow Seven. Two of the most disappointing teams I think I've ever seen in my life because I thought these two teams were going to be towards the top, and All Night took their very first victory. Rainbow Seven never won a game this week, so they went a combined 1-5 this week. When I thought these two teams were going to be like some of the best teams in the league, that was like from an NA perspective. That's like going in and watching like C9 in TSM or Team Liquid. I'll say Team Liquid in like C9, just losing every game in 1 week to teams like Optic. Weirdly enough, still undefeated, but like Echo Fox, 100 Thieves, like they all just destroyed them. And I'm like sitting there like, how is this happening? Like, I don't really know. There wasn't a Baron throw at least. That's good. They did give up a Baron, but I don't want to call this a Baron throw. This is a desperate Baron by Rainbow Seven. I'm still calling them Royal Seven. Damn it. But I think this was much more of a desperate Baron than a Baron throw. So I'll give him a pass on that. Technically, you can't throw when you're down 7k gold. KLG versus Pixel. As you can tell, this was a chaotic game. Anytime you see up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down like that, just pure chaos. Pure chaos. And that's why we have Chaos Latin Gamers. I am losing my mind. I'm even making puns, and I don't make puns. Oh, boy. Pixel, popped off 7-4 and 12 with the Aurelia. 11-2 on the Xayah, not the Kaisa. Oh my god. Kaisa Nautilus. I still think Kaisa Nautilus is one of the best bot lanes in the league, but it has not come up with a lot of victories. This if you could tell in the wildcard region. I don't know if they're just playing it wrong or what, but I've seen a lot of losses on it. I don't know why. AP Kaisa though, that was interesting. It's for the I get the AP Kaisa actually because with the Nautilus it provides so many stacks for you that you can actually just a lot of burst. Didn't work. Did not work though. As you can tell, 5-9 is total. That's not too bad. Rennington actually. This is where Rennington goes / report all teammates because I went 8-2, carried my lane. What can I do? This guy's in his series. He was in his series to Diamond right here, and his teammates let him down. Next, this is the game I want to talk about. This is the game where I thought, what am I doing with my life watching watching these games to their fullest? Because I can't when I wanted to do this wildcard region, I'm still gonna do it for at least the split. Event VODs, shout out to them, not in a good way. They had highlights and they had the VODs and highlights for all these regions. Starting this split, the split of course that I start watching. They only do the 4 major regions now. They don't even do LMS anymore. So like they only do the 4 major regions for all their highlights and everything. So I have to watch all these games in full to understand what's going on. So it's like what would I say? There was objectives in this game. Cool, kill, and you're like, oh, that's not that big of a difference. This is 32 minutes. This game was 1-1. 32 minutes into it in an LLA game, and I was watching it today. I'm just like, why? Why am I watching this? Furious Gaming, though, comes up with the victory. 4-1-3 on the Akali. Emp had a fantastic week, by the way, on the Akali. Very good Akali player. Was a joy. I like to see the little things in the wildcard regions. And, like, I think they say on Professional not me obviously, but professional analysts, that these wildcard regions are really stepping up talent-wise. That their players by themselves can probably go against most of the other players in the world. It's the macro that gets them in team play, and the sense that like it's only their best players can handle it, not necessarily their worst. Their worst players are much worse than our worst players, if that makes sense. But their best players can definitely compete. I really do believe that, especially after watching MSI. You can see that gap has closed, definitely. Yeah, because a wild card region like NA made it to finals. This is why I don't do hour-long podcasts, guys. I start losing it. Furious Gaming with the victory, though. Infinity versus Pixels. Infinity finally went 3-0 to start the week. 5-1 and 13 on the rec side. Fantastic game for Solid Snake. Disappointed they didn't play Cassiopeia or anything related to Snake from Metal Gear. Rec side is not related to any of that. Nico, I don't like Orm picks. You know I don't like Orm picks. I don't like tank picks, and if I don't like tank picks, who I only play tanks suck. Tanks. I think Brock made a joke yesterday when we were playing ARAM that when I reroll tanks and ARAMs, you know tanks are in a bad position. I rerolled Mundo for Twisted Fate in an ARAM. We ended up losing that game, and it was because I kind of sucked on Twisted Fate. Anyway, 10-3. Xayah is a super good ADC right now. I think Xayah and Sivir are the strongest two ADCs because of the buff to Essence Reaver. It was only a 5 damage buff or 10 damage buff, but it's a massive amount when you count every single auto doing that amount of damage. It's just all those like little like barely survive situations, you kill them now, and now because of that you snowball even more off of it. Let's wrap this up. Isurus Gaming versus Furious Gaming. Isurus Gaming. This game was pretty close. Love the Leona. I was gonna say Aurelia, even though I have 300 kill mastery in Leona. Leona pick and Sivir. It's one of my favorite. One of my favorite ADCs and my favorite support. All into one. I think it's fantastic. It's a huge counter. Leona's a huge counter to Rakan. Even though people have been saying the Rakan's broken for so long, I'm like, I've never had a problem with Rakan personally, as my two supports I play are Leona and Nautilus. So, like, I've always considered Rakan very balanced, but I know I'm very biased in that sense because both of my supports just happen to counter him really hard. Emp needs to go back on the Akali, which it was not banned this game, so needs to go right back on that. I think Akali is actually not too bad into Corki. It gets poked out early, but you can destroy it a lot later on. Seiya had a good game on that Corki compared to the Zoe. 0-2. No one really had a good game except for Jose Diodo. But yeah, it was close to the first 15 minutes, but with the scaling of Corki Sivir, you don't want the game to be close at 15 minutes. So you had Ryze's scaling and Xayah, but I think Sivir personally outscales Xayah, and I think Corki definitely outscales Zoe. I know Zoe can one-shot people, but the Corki can essentially one-shot people with a lot more accuracy as it is in auto attacks and stuff, and not a bubble. You miss a bubble and you're kind of useless on Zoe late game, where Corki you get 7 rockets. Finally, we had Infinity versus X10. Infinity blew them out. We don't need to talk about it. They were winning the whole game. That is it for LLA until we talk about power rankings now, where I have Isurus as they started out 3-0. They are obviously, I had them number 1 at the beginning. They're still number 1. Infinity going 3-0. They've moved up all the way to number 2 from number 3. No, they were number 4. No, they were number 3. Pixel was number 4. They've moved up to number 3. X10 was number 5. They've moved up to number 4. No, actually X10 was number 6. All Night, I dropped all the way to 5th. This team loses 2 games and only beats Rainbow 7. Like, that's not good at all. I think they'll be better. This is more an emotional thing of me seeing All Nights and Rainbow 7 lose like every single game. I kind of got pissed off and put them at 5, and I put Furious Gaming 6 and Rainbow 7 number 7. They'll bounce back. I realize this says preseason power rankings. Didn't change it to week 1 power rankings. 1 power. I've probably been saying that for all of them. Whoopsies. Forgot to change that part. Chaos Latin Gamers, still number 8. 0-3. Don't think they're going to do much at all. They're actually, to be honest, Chaos Latin Game is probably one of the worst teams in all professional league. So with that, we are going to move on to our predictions for LLA. LOL Esports, let's get back up. LLA here. Trust me, I haven't watched that yet. You can tell. You've been watching my screen this whole time. Predictions, though. Do and do. Isurus beating Pixel in game number 1. I have All Knights coming back. I still believe. I think they'll beat Furious Gaming, even though I like Furious Gaming's logo. I still like All Knights' logo as well. X10 will beat Chaos Latin Gamers, like I just said. Chaos Latin Gamers is one of the worst teams in all professional league at the moment. Infinity will take down Rainbow 7 for Rainbow 7 to start 0-4 to start the year. I have Pixel beating X10. I think this is going to be a very close game. They're equally matched up. I'd say they're definitely they are the FlyQuest and Gold Guardians of the LLA, if you want an example. Infinity versus Furious Gaming here. Rainbow 7 should be able to defeat Chaos Latin Gamers, I hope. This is a battle between two 0 the fact that I'm going to watch this game between two 0-4 teams in Latin America, as long as my other prediction works out properly, shows how much of a life I have. Isurus Gaming should take down All Knights in the next game, and I just realized they only do 8 games, and this is on Saturday. So hide those games. You didn't see those predictions. They could change. I can change them now. Yeah, these games, they only do 8 now. Thank God. I saw 12 games. I was so confused why they were playing 12. But luckily they only do 8 now a week. So I'm happy with that. Let's get quickly. We're already an hour and 5 minutes in. Preseason rankings for the LJL. We don't know what's happening in this game, but I have Detonation Focus Me as the number 1 team coming out of the LJL. I love this team. As you know, at MSI I was a huge fan, huge homer. Sorry for the bias. But until Detonation Focus Me proves otherwise, they're the number 1 team in Japan. Unsold Stuff Gaming. Cool name, but also number weird name, I should say. But they number 2 team as well. And I saw a power rankings list for the LGL to help me out, and I was like, this team, Unsold Stuff. I would have put this team towards the bottom, to be honest, just off name recognition alone. But they're number 2. The four people that I saw do power rankings for this, they had them between 2 and 3, so I think they'll be number 2. Crest Gaming Act number 3. Sengoku Gaming number 4. Burning Core number 5. Man, I feel like a weeb that I can say that correctly, but I can't say any of the LLA stuff or any of the Turkish League correctly. V3 Esports number 3.
Thank you!
Thank you very much for Idol for the subscription. I never thought that would happen in an hour and 7-minute podcast. I'm glad I've entertained you today with my insanity. V3 number 6. Rascal Jester number 7. I just hope to see a Shaco coming out of Rascal Jester. And Axis is number 8. Everyone had Axis number 8. They're playing right now, so my guess, if I take a sneak peek, I'll do my predictions and I'm going to take a sneak peek and they'll probably be winning. Anyway, let's go over my predictions. Sengoku, they're going to win this game right here. They are, I believe. I got to actually pull it up here to LJL. Get rid of Latin America. Sengoku is going to win this game. Axis, I'm going to have pull an upset against Rascal Jester because they're going to pick Shaco and they're going to lose because anyone who picks Shaco is picking him to lose the game, I feel like. Sorry to all Shaco mains out there if you watch. He kind of sucks. My friend Lars, the guy who's supposed to be working on editing this stuff but hasn't yet, or making our podcast all fancy, but he's been busy in real life and it makes me sad. He's a Shaco main and he plays Poppy Jungle instead now because Shaco doesn't do any damage as an assassin, and that's not good. Anyway, Axis is going to win game number 2. Victory 5. V5 or V3. God, these teams either have not similar names. There's too many. I think there's like 100 some teams. They can have their own unique name. Be like Unsold Stuff Gaming. Have your a name that no one else has. Sengoku will beat V3 next game. Detonation Focus Me taking down Burning Core in game number 4. Unsold Stuff Gaming is going to take down Burning Core in game 5. Yeah, I know, Idol. China and Japan, it's kind of close to each other, but not really. It's still very different regions, as China is probably the best region in the world still. Japan, not so much. Unsold Gaming will start 2-0. They do have a cool logo, to be honest. Versus Crest Gaming, which is going to be 0-2 to start. Actually, I feel I feel sorry for Crest Gaming. Everyone has them like in like third or second place, and they have to go against the second place and first place team. That's such a bad start. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I have Crest Gaming losing both their games. That is my predictions. Holy shit. That's an hour and 10-minute podcast. I can't wait until at least if I redo the wildcard region next split where I actually know these teams. It's always really embarrassing for me to admit out loud that like sometimes I don't know any of these players or these teams because like I know Detonation focused me because they've shown up to Worlds and MSI. The rest of these teams haven't shown up, so like I haven't watched any LJL before. So I'm like, oh, this is a cool logo. I'm gonna pick this team. No. I try to look at I try to Google power rankings and like read what people say about the teams and then actually do the predictions. So I do actually some real analysis, but if it's like between a fourth and fifth, like if some people have this team number 4 and some people have this team number 5, I'm like, oh, their logo is kind of cooler. That's a personal thing that I shouldn't admit on the podcast live, but that's how it goes. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to watch this game. If you watch this YouTube video, thank you. Don't know how you survived, but thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you Sunday where we will talk about Victory 5 because they upset IG this week. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you Sunday for LPL. I apparently need to go to bed. Thank you, Idol, for the subscription again, and thank you for surviving watching this train wreck live. See you later.